Marcus's hat is disappearing into the screen.
I
Hey
know,
y'all,
not my
Freedom
best
Bros
hat.
Golf Show back at it again. I am I am Rod.
I'm Marcus.
I am Michael.
Let's get right to it. Cut the BS. No muss, no fuss. I do want to be efficient with this first part. Just golf is growing like crazy, right? So the last time you were on, Mike, we were talking about the Internet Invitational big event in YouTube golf, and got a lot of eyes. Multi-part series, these really long episodes. Um, we're seeing a lot of youth embrace the game. It's becoming, I call it the cool kids game right now, right? So, while it's always massive in the US, participation is down. Hoops is kind of up and down in the US at least, but not necessarily growers hoops. Baseball, very distant. Hockey, very distant. But what parts of the game that are growing that you guys like to see growing, and then we'll go to the negative side afterwards. So, Marcus, jump in. What do you think about the growth of the game? What do you like seeing grow right now?
Um, I like seeing the youth come into the game because they're having a chance to develop their game and actually get more into the competitive side of it instead of just what we're seeing now as full-on grown adults where they're here for fun and here for the drinking aspect, not so much the health aspect or kind of getting into the the love of the game. They're kind of just doing it for like I don't know, I feel like they're doing it for the wrong reasons, which we'll get into. But I
Bullshit
feel
part of
like
it.
I'm right, it's part of it. But I feel like the youth have a good opportunity to grow the game, really change the perspective of how it's going along and how we can strengthen and keep the game going as far as new companies and and then as well as our older OEMs, really getting back into traction and stuff like that. So yeah, I think pretty much the only one that's lagging behind is Callaway as far as growing the game. Titleist, TaylorMade, Ping, even I would say is a leg ahead of Callaway. Before we get into like Tacoma and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really seeing, for the most part, it's a lot of positives going on in 2025, going into 2026 as far as golf goes. What do you think, Mike?
Cool.
Yeah, I think you are right when it
Right,
comes
the
to
direct
the
to
game.
consumer stuff.
Yeah, I think what you talked about with the youth as well is not only just youth, but the diversity of youth, where
Yeah,
we could say, 30 years ago, it was a predominantly white sport, where now we're starting to see tours and like junior tours and amateur tours that are giving kids and college players of color or of different nationalities the opportunity to showcase their skills on a global level, and that's just certainly helping the next kid who never thought that it was possible for them to play the game and to see like their hometown hero or their someone that they look up to be able to make it to where they're at, and they may not achieve tour status, but to see that someone of their like similar looking or someone that they look up to can make it to X amount, to them, it's like I can go even further. So I think that's a great thing. I just, I mean, of course, COVID was the biggest thing why the game of golf grew. It's the only thing you could do outside. So, but I just think that what companies are doing by sponsoring these kind of different tours are doing a really good job in kind of bringing in where kids want to play in it, and so like for example, the underrated tour, parents don't. I don't think parents have to pay for flights. It's the kid and a parent, and they get to go play like TPC San Antonio, Harding Park, kind of places where you kind of won't ever play unless you got money.
Yeah,
And it's a really great opportunity that what
Right.
Steph did. But yeah, it's a really great opportunity what Steph did for those kids. And I really hope that it just other people see that and just continue to grow
absolutely. Facts.
it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not even, my background is business, so I think there's a lot of money that can be made on the golf side of it. In addition to, and it's organic growth. It's not necessarily something that, am I frozen?
Yeah, a little bit. You coming in and out.
Sorry.
Did hear you say you were on the business side of things. So, as far as
Okay.
the money goes
I'm
and it
choppy.
being
I'm gonna let y'all
organic and
take the
stuff.
reins for the most part. I'll guide and listen for the most part today, but sorry. Um, yeah, I just think there's so many avenues of where the game can go and continue to grow. Um, okay. Yeah. So for you guys, what I know you've kind of already led off on some things that want to change. So I know you have big opinions about this market.
Yeah.
Mike, you think there's some things that are too fast in golf and we need to slow?
Um, I do feel like in the aspect of like I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I really feel like
Check the chat.
sometimes, yeah, I feel like sometimes there's bad growth going on in the game because, like I said, in the adult aspect, yes, there's a lot of business deals going on, and yes, there is a lot of money being exchanged or being promised and stuff like that on the course. All for it, and there should be a lot of corporate folks getting into the game, but the corporate folks also have the funds to get lessons, go about it the right way, get the lessons, get the etiquette, and kind of learn how to play the golf from the ground up. You got guys out here that are just watching content creators off of YouTube, which I think is still a dope thing. Not denouncing YouTube golf, not detracting from that momentum that they have going because there is a lot to be learned from YouTube golf, as me and Rod have discussed in many episodes before. There is so many different ways to learn the game of golf, and it's not always in person. It's not always doing it, with a pro. There's so many of the basics that you can learn just off of YouTube. Your grip, your stance, general idea of how the golf swing should work, takeaway, stuff like that. You can learn that from YouTube for free. And then as you get into your individualized swing and how you feel like you're gonna swing, then you can find you a local pro or something like that to get you going. But I don't think that everybody should be out on the course in basketball shorts and joggers and t-shirts. I still feel like there should be a bit of formal wear involved in this. I'm just not going to I feel like there are casual rounds. There absolutely should be some places like a par 3 course, like an executive course. There's definitely opportunities to see the casual wear, the relaxed fit and stuff like that, not necessarily needing golf shoes, not necessarily needing a polo. Something, athletic will do. But in the same aspect, when you're going to these high dollar courses, when you're going to these middle of these B grade courses and stuff like that, you got to throw a polo on there, brother. You got to have a belt on. You got to have some form of pants, some golf shorts, something like that. Um, just I guess that's just the shrink the game in me, but I think that's something that needs to continue to go that way. Mike, what do you think is kind of slowing the growth, or what do you think of some of the negative things about the growth that's going on right now?
Yeah, kind of what you said, just etiquette and how you kind of get into the game. Um, Especially equipment wise, because of course this game can be very expensive. But I think that you, as like, if you're getting into it, I wouldn't say, hey, you should spend $4,500 or however much money on a brand new set of clubs. Yes,
Right,
yes, equipment is important, don't get me wrong, but not everyone needs that $350 aftermarket shaft. Not everybody, that can come with time. Um,
yeah,
but I think what you're kind of harping on, especially when it comes to golf courses, yes, not every golf course has a equal standard where the fairways are always, plush, the everything's lined perfectly. But um, polos and shorts are always it's what how I grew up. I mean, there are some places here in Texas that if you don't even if you have jeans on, like it's a no-go. You can't go
right.
play.
You can't even
And
play there.
yes, seeing as that we both worked together at a golf course for a while, yes, the occasional out of towner or the out of country person would come in and say, "Hey, I didn't even think I was going to play golf today." Um, we'd give them like a one-time slide or a one-time pass. But for the
Yeah,
most part, if you know you're an avid golfer and you're going out of town, always bring something resembling golf clothes. I
guys.
just think that people seeing PGA Tour players have this high dollar equipment in their bag is a great thing, but it's something that comes with time and that people need to accept that it's not just, hey, if you are a beginner golfer or looking to improve in your golf game, it should be something that maybe you should get some counseling or not counseling, but some advice from someone who like a fitter like myself who would suggest like, hey, yeah, you do need this or not right now. Um,
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I was gonna kind of continue on and ask you about. As a fitter, as somebody that still works on the golf retail side of things, do you feel like beginning golfers, do you feel like they need a full bag? What are the things that you feel like golfers starting in the game should absolutely need and what they shouldn't go without for, until they feel like they are fully committed to the game, that type of route. What do you think is absolutely needed compared to what is not needed?
I mean, of course, I would always say if you don't think about purchasing like a pretty cheap box set, meaning like it's a pre-built, pretty, mass-produced set that, let's say retails around 200 bucks. It
Yeah,
comes with a driver, a three wood, a couple hybrids, a couple irons, a sand wedge, and a putter. It has everything that you need to start off with.
yeah,
Um, but if let's say you don't want to spend that, okay, well then you can find, let's say a driver. Of course, it's probably one of the easier clubs to hit. Um, it's one of the easier clubs to hit just because of it has a larger mass than most of the other clubs. A sandwich, of course, because it has the most loft,
hmm,
and maybe a 7 iron because it's the most common club that everybody hits, and a
yeah,
putter, of course, a putter. But I would
absolutely.
say if you decide not to purchase that kind of 300 to $200 starter set, I would start with those clubs and work on it slowly and slowly where okay, then you can say, hey, let me find a set of game improvement irons. Start there. Then you can maybe add a three wood and then get a bag. And so I mean, it's not just hey, I have to buy everything at one time in one go. No, you can slowly piece it together, slowly, get better equipment over time. It's it's not a cheap sport. I mean, we both know
Right.
how expensive it can get. Um, so I think that's a good way to start.
Yeah. You feel like there's golf brands that kind of market the game to be too casual? Like I mean, I guess, I mean, I don't feel like there is. I feel like every brand has a nice amount of polos branded and stuff like that compared to like t-shirts and stuff like that. I know our shop used to have a few t-shirts just for kind of like purchasing for like tourists and like after round purposes and stuff like that. But as far as marketing it to be worn like out on a golf course, I don't think there's too many brands that just like are outright like, yo, like you can take this out on the course and then go, straight to dinner. That isn't like a polo or like a button down or whatever. You know what I'm saying? What do you feel about that? Like, what do you like? Do you think there's some brands that we don't carry in our shop, our shop that we used to work at, that you carry in your current workplace that you kind of would say markets a little bit too casual?
No, I mean we mainly carry what you guys carry. I would say the
Right.
one brand that does kind of have like that casual is like Malbon, like super, you
True.
know what I mean? Very cash,
Right.
like, and and yes, they still make their attire look golf worthy, but is it the traditional, two-button polo with a belt and slacks? No. I mean,
Right.
we are starting to see like a little style change as well as like a lot of collaborations with like Kith. Kith usually does it with TaylorMade.
Yeah.
Mm, but
Yeah.
like
As
Malbon is like the number one like brand. It's like, yo, that's like a little too lax, but it works.
Yeah, it does. And luckily, for them, as Rod mentioned in the chat, it's definitely still top dollar stuff. Like it's still
No,
high
no, no,
quality
absolutely.
things,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's you're still gonna be paying, a nice amount of bread to get that on your backs. Um, but yeah, that's a good opener for the show. I think we can kind of go down the list as far as events that happen. Let's get into. I think as far as growing the game, I think that's a good pivot to get into the LPGA and what they have going because I do think that. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We're gonna go with Tiger in his presser from the Hero World Golf Challenge. So as it happened, we always go through the same thing. Tiger comes out on Tuesday, gives his you kind of like his State of the Union, his personal one of how he's feeling, how his game is going. When's the next time we're going to see him out on the course? And unfortunately, it's been that way because he hasn't been able to play. He's been hurt. He's been doing, getting surgeries. Like recently, he's got his back worked on. But he did say also, he did mention that recently he got cleared to chip and putt again. So he's in Florida. The weather's the various weather is very temporal. So 70s, 80s, that should allow him to kind of loosen it up, be pretty chill, be able to get it in. Did you by chance happen to catch that any of that interview, Mike?
I caught like a piece of it where I think I don't know if that was, I could be wrong. The one with where he kind of talks about, they ask him, well, how many events do you plan on playing this year? He goes, well, how many are on the Champions? How many are on the PGA Tour? So about 150, give or take.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 I found that funny, but I mean, that's kind of like the only little snippet I caught of like the return of Tiger is, always the big question of where is Tiger going to play, when he's going to play, and what tour is he going to play? Well, now that's another question is what tour is he going to play? Will he still
Right.
make will he make his debut on the Champions, or will he play his normal, let's say, 8 events on the PGA Tour, give or take 8, not including majors?
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I don't know if he was I think he was being funny, but he said he wanted to play about 25 events, which is probably not realistic. I think he'll probably start somewhere into March, try to get ready to be able to play for the Masters since he's got, a permanent exemption for that. I think um after that, in the heat of the summer, kind of during those elevated events where it's limited field and stuff like that, maybe he tries to make that jump to the Champions Tour and play a couple of events out there, get into some of those, those early season PGA Champions majors, and see what he can do over there. I think he's the only one that has an opportunity to win every USGA sanctioned event. So if he comes in and wins the US Open, the Seniors Open, I think he would clean sweep the USGA championship, the USGA Open, US Open, and stuff like that. So I think he's the only one that has that opportunity to do that. So I think in that aspect that'd be cool. But
I get
I
what you're
think,
saying.
yeah, I think one thing that he did mention, because he was asked about it, now that he's on that that competition committee brought together by the new commish, I think he was referring to, I think for the fan, he's talking about shrinking the schedule and kind of consolidating because they feel like they are battling a lot with other sports beginning of the season. You know, those January and February Kickstarters where NBA is still full field, the NFL playoffs are going, the NHL is still going. So, you know, a lot of eyes aren't really worried about what's going on at the American Express. A lot of eyes aren't really worried about, you know, unfortunately, what's going on with the farmers insurance. So maybe you take the farmers insurance, move that later on in the season because that's long been one of the title sponsors, long been one of the staple events on the tour. Maybe move the Pebble Beach Pro-Am a little bit later in the season when it's a little bit warmer and the weather isn't as crazy off the coast. But I think they're trying to go down to 30-ish events from the 44 that they were doing. So that's kind of, that might be a little bit of an extreme jump. I didn't catch all of the pressure, but they did say that they were talking to sponsors and letting them, informing them of knowing what they're trying to get done for the 2027 season. So we have all of 2026 to prepare for this. So we'll see how it goes. What is your opinion on that? As a guy that is, an aspiring pro, we've already limited the fields now to, 125. Only 100 players are getting their tour card as it is per year now. Do you feel like this is the right direction to go? Do you feel like they should consolidate and get more money into the fewer fields that we're going to have going forward? So I think a realistic number would probably be going from like 44 to maybe 37, 35, something like that. A few of those events in the early season, kind of cutting it out in the middle where the NBA playoffs are going on, early May, April, something like that. Really kind of trying to focus on the majors that you're going to go through with the Masters and then the players, keeping those events like that running. But what do you think about that, Mike?
Well, we can look at it from two perspectives. Let's say we looked at it from someone who is established tour player like a Rory McIlroy versus a Isaiah Salinda, a rookie, who
Yeah.
who did I think did not was on or very close to keeping his tour card. So let's say we take away realistically, let's say hypothetically 10 events, right? What does that do for Roy McIlroy? Nothing, because
Yeah.
he can keep his card. Now, let's talk about the guys on the lower end of the spectrum. Now that kind of, in my opinion, shrinks the game a lot because I think I heard or read something that said that there either people are getting tired of seeing new faces or it's just kind of like this continuing like, oh, well, this no name just won, and then another no name just wins. Oh, and then Roy McIlroy, Scottie Scheffler, Roy, or then the big names start
Yeah.
winning, and then another. That's the game of golf. That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that there should be more opportunities for these guys. And then on top of that, when does the NBA, NFL end? Realistically, the Super Bowl is in what,
Mid-February, like always like
mid-February.
around Valentine's.
And NBA Finals is no, not the summer.
NBA Finals is beginning of summer.
Beginning of
Like
the summer.
finishes
Okay.
usually around Father's Day, like right before the US Open.
Yeah. I don't think that should be a problem because golf will still happen. Those
Yeah,
marquee events will still occur. Um, I don't think that they should shrink it because I like after the NFC AFC championship, it's like a month break. It's almost a month break that the players take to press and practice and all that stuff. So that's
yeah,
golf that is played in that time period. Um,
yeah.
I
I
know
think
the
2 to 3 weeks. I think they have now they're doing the Pro Bowl. They're doing a week, and then the Pro Bowl, and then another week, and then the Super Bowl. So usually they play the. I think it's actually cool that they do the waste management open the same week as the
yeah,
Super
no,
Bowl.
yeah,
Because I
absolutely.
feel like they move up the coverage. You get it on CBS or NBC. They
Hmm.
play the game at night, and then a lot of the players fly straight from the event to the Super Bowl. They talk about that all the time, how that's a fun aspect for them. They enjoy playing the tournament and then going and watching the Super Bowl or going and flying to the Super Bowl. All of those guys have money to do that. I
Right.
agree with that. I feel like I don't know. We're fans of the game. We are golf purists. So like limiting the schedule, it doesn't really appeal to us. The money aspect, the business aspect of it all, I think is absolutely gonna shrink the game in the wrong way. But for the money wise, I think it's gonna consolidate. So it's gonna always I think it's gonna pay off in the long run for them. And then as the game continues to grow, as it continues to find its own lane, maybe they begin to add events back. I think that's kind of what I feel like would kind of be the goal. I don't,
Hmm.
that's just me, kind of
Well, I would say
snowballing it here.
it's. I feel like it's just completely different. I mean, you've already shrunk the amount of tour cards that you're giving out, and then on top
Monday
of
qualifiers.
yeah, that too. Like, I think this year is the last. I think there's only two tournaments that will have it on Monday, and that's the Houston Open and something else.
Yeah.
After that, it's invite only or qualifying only.
Yeah.
So
Sponsors
it's like,
exemptions. Yeah.
right. So to the guy on a mini tour who's trying to Monday qualify into, like, let's say the Valero State Open, the Houston Open, the Mexico Open, even the Waste Management, it's an open. Um, it's it's just not making it accessible. And then on top of that, you're taking out other routes of getting your tour card where instead of having to go to Q school and spend $1,500 per stage to maybe even get a couple starts on the Corn Ferry, and if you play well enough, you get your PGA Tour card or you get on PGA Tour Americas. Not to say that, it's not possible that you're gonna be on there forever. You can move up,
Yeah.
but it's making the game of golf so limited to people who want to get into it. Where I mean,
It's just not a. I just don't think it's the right way to grow the game.
I don't think so
There's
either.
more.
No.
There's more organic ways to go about it besides shrinking fields as well as that. Now, if you want to limit event numbers, but in the same aspect, go back to 140 man fields, 144 man fields, then okay, that's fine. Or you open that game back up to where you feel like the players from the Corn Ferry Tour, if they've done it, if they've won or something like that, they can get a sponsor's exemption. Or if they finish in like the top five and they're not already exempt into a Corn Ferry event, that they're allowed to play in the PGA Tour event, that upcoming week or something like that. Then I would say that's cool since there's no Monday qualifiers and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree. I
Mhm.
don't really know how that's going to transpire. But again, like we said, that's not going to even happen until 2027 and beyond. So
Right.
we'll see how that's going to transpire. And then, hopefully we'll go from there. But Rod's kind of directing in the back. So I think what we'll do is I think we'll just go down our show notes in order. So I think what we'll do now is go to the LPGA and let's kick it off with the big man up top, the new man, Craig Kessler, who's the new commissioner for the LPGA. I think he is doing a great job of organically growing the ladies' game again. He's doing it very much so with a team, but also he is going to search out players. He is going to meet them where they're at. He's not, coming out on a power trip and feeling like, I need y'all to come to me. I need y'all to come meet me in my office. He's going to meet them and their families and in their cities to play in these pro-ams, to play and meet with them in their dinners and stuff like that. I think that's a great way to kind of feel like he is invested in them, invested in the new player. I think it's also a way for him to search out and find new talent to come with these to kind of usher in these new stars. You can't just rely on Jeeno. You can't just rely on Nelly. You got to have some diamonds in the rough to really kind of dig it out and really kind of grab these these TV ratings and get them up. As we know, they just really released the last week in their championship that every round next year for the 2026 season for the LPGA is going to be officially televised live where they are at. What are your aspects on the LPGA, the steps that they're taking, and kind of the new commissioner and what he's doing, Mike?
I think that's fantastic what he's doing, and he's not doing it where he's like, "Oh, by year 3, we're gonna have" no, he's just kinda like, "Let's start a fire and pour some gasoline on it and get this thing as hot as we can get it." Um,
Absolutely.
so I think he's doing a really good job. I think, in the article I read, it stated that he recognizes it's a really top quality raw product that needs just better guidance in the sense
Yeah.
of in the sense of that it needs to be televised more. It shouldn't be like a back end that like, oh, I didn't know they played in this. I think
Right.
that some of these, especially a lot of these women that are playing on this tour, have worked their tails off, equal to the men. Um, so I think what he's doing is just saying like, okay, well, you know what? Let's shake things up. Let's try a different method to see how we can better put this product out to the general public, and let's just keep see how well this does. Um, I think that if anybody else were to take over or kind of have a different idea, they'd kind of be in that same little pocket that they're in right now. So for him to kind of push the envelope and kind of take this to places where it's kind of like uncharted territory is fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, of course, with uncharted territory, is it like a double-edged sword? I guess over time we'll see how good um, or how bad it could be. But from what it looks like on paper, it looks like this could be the next step for the LPGA, where we could see, especially in the United States, we could see a lot more viewers actually uh, watch it, and
Yeah.
even maybe more talk of like, um, especially for like parents and young women that they say, oh, I want to be like Roseanne, or I want to be like Nelly Corda, or I want to be like. So I think that'll be fantastic that they're doing that.
Yeah, agreed. I think he also mentioned that he's in constant communication with the Ladies European Tour. I mean, a lot of those players already are making the trip over to play in both tours, so I think it would be good on both sides and in earnest, communication to, really just kind of finally nail in a kind of like a concrete agreement to merge. Well, not necessarily merge, but you know, have a definitive partnership per se.
Hmm.
You know, okay, you're exempt into this amount of events through your status on the LET tour. You'll be able and allowed to play in this many events, and then of course, just like how it is in the PGA, if you do well on the LPGA, then of course you're going to gain your status and keep on moving it through there. Rod also had a good point in the chat. He spoke about Kessler's kind of not necessarily pressure, but also really just trying to put the onus on the LPGA, because if you want to see something grow, you got to put some water on the plant too. You can't just let other people look at your product and say we should do this with it. You should have an input. you should be able to, put a foot forward and see what you can do with that as well. Um, yeah, also again, just like Rod mentioned, the Aramco series that we had in LPGA at Golf Crest, having more Aramco series events on, stateside. I think that was a very good point. I think that was a very good look. It definitely was more successful than I thought. It's kind of sprung up on us, like we mentioned that week, but for what happened, it was definitely some good fanfare, and it was definitely a good course. As we all know, Golf Crest around the way, on the south side of town. But yeah, let's see. Let's see. I guess on the lighter side, still with the LPGA, Jeeno won back-to-back CME Globe Tour championships. So she pocketed another 7.5 million throughout the year, 4 million straight up. She said she went to Disney World and kind of expensed the trip. Said it was a
Yeah.
little pricey.
Yeah.
What you think of that? Have you been to Disneyland or have you been to Disney World? Have you been to either one?
I I've been to World in Florida. Yes. Yeah,
Nice.
Disney World in Florida. Um, I mean, I was like 8, so I just thought, "Oh, mom, I just want a hat." And they just got me a hat.
We
But
were kids too when we went. Spring
you know what I
break
mean?
trip. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was one of the greatest times that we had. Um, I think maybe I was, oh my God. Oh my goodness. What was Rod's gonna have to remind me when we went, but he was probably young teens. I was probably 8 or 9 or so. Oh, I was like 6 or 7. Okay. I was 6 or 7. So Rod was 12, 13. Shut up. Y'all are, y'all are garbage. I hate you, Rod, and I hate you, Mike. Y'all are both trash. Y'all are garbage. Um, but I think Gino, kind of brought the family out and everything like that to kind of incentivize her to earn that money again. So hopefully, we see her kind of lead the charge again. And now that Nelly has officially tied the knot, um, dude, I don't know if you saw that announcement, but she announced that she's engaged officially. And me and Rod were talking about it behind the scenes, as we usually do throughout the week. And we said that's why she wasn't winning. She had her eyes on other prizes. The golf balls weren't the only thing that was on her mind. So that in itself, hopefully now that that's out the way, we can have a 2-horse race at least and get Gino and Nelly both back in the saddle. Hopefully that will, kind of propel that show, and we'll see what's going. I don't remember this, but this sounds about right. I definitely remember not being the best little brother as we were growing up. And I'll admit to that. Mainly because I was more envious of Rod when I was a kid. I want to say one of the last things that I did to kind of like really copy Rod was we both got these Nike like foam posit slides in the same color and everything. They were like a royal blue foam posit, like kind of like a shoe slide. And I feel like I was just like, I want those too. And I feel like that was the last kind of thing. And even then, that was like early preteens. So shout out to Rod for, kind of stomaching me as a kid and, putting up with me because now I feel like we're really cool now. But I will take that on the chin. I definitely was the where okay. We're gonna have to find some pictures. Maybe mom has some pictures and we'll look this up and maybe we'll put that on one of our socials about this trip that we had. I definitely remember taking some pictures because I had like this all black outfit. I wore long sleeves and then on like an 80-degree day for some reason. I do remember that. It was 95 was that's Rod's favorite Air Max year as well, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that is his favorite Air Max year. He will confirm that or deny that later on in the show. But yeah, let's keep it moving. Let's see. Okay, we had the DP World Tour playing. Uh, two events. They had the Nedbank Challenge that was in South Africa. Then they had the Australian Open, which was a real crowd favorite. And then, of course, we'll kind of go through the Hero World Challenge, and then we'll get into the Grand Thornton and kind of call it quits. So let's go with the Nedbank. We had Christopher Wrighton taking the title there. Really, kind of from the start, he shot a hot round to begin. I don't know how much of that you saw, Mike. I know Rod probably saw it because it was more on his time. It was in South Africa, which is like 10 hours ahead of us. Probably like maybe 2 or 3 behind him, maybe 4 hours behind him or so. Um, and I think that there was a couple of late charges. A dude named Bradbury kind of charged. He ended up losing by one. Mike, how much of the coverage did you saw, and how many of those guys on the DP World Tour do you really follow kind of intently or enough to know who they are?
For the Nedbank,
Yeah, for the Nedbank in South Africa.
I did not catch any of either tournament, but I am looking at this article that you guys put up, and it is kind of weird in the sense of not that many guys that I know. But Christian, I don't know how to say his last name.
Bazuntai, yeah.
Yeah. And then did Johannes play in this? He played in it. Oh, he won it last year, but did he play in it again this year?
Yes, he did. He was the defending champion, so he
Yes.
definitely made the trip.
Um,
Let's see.
those are probably the only two guys that I know in the field off the top of the head.
Let me
Um,
see if I'll get to a leaderboard. Give me one sec.
mhm. But
Um,
I will
let's
say this.
see.
I
Say,
do I
go ahead.
I do find it odd that that there were two tournaments played on the DP World Tour. One of them, like the Australian Open, which had more of our kind of more obvious players, like Rory, I think Lowry played in it, Cam Smith, like more of like the notable players. Um, and then this like the prize, just the prize, uh, God dang it, like how much money was given out between the two, I feel like is really wishy-washy. Like I feel like it should have been opposite.
No, I think that was more so that the Nedbank has always been there, and I
Uh,
feel like the Australian Open is kind of generally speaking just like the opposite field of it. But it being in Australia, that's why it grabs so much attention.
mm,
Um, and also, I mean, I don't know what the translation is from the Australian dollar to the US dollar either, though. So that might hold a little bit more weight per se.
um,
I
no,
think.
I think the winner made like, yeah, Cam Smith made like 145,000, and I think Rory,
Neergaard won. He won in
no,
the playoff, or he
yeah,
won in the 18th.
yeah, he made 225,000, which is like, it's a lot of money to us, but like to to these guys, it's like pocket change.
Yeah,
And I think Rory, what was she? Yeah, Rory made like $19,000
it'll be
for
fine.
a T4. No, no, he'll be fine, but it was like, you know, I just feel like you got like bigger name. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
Let's see. This event was the event in South Africa was a limited field, no cut. So I think that also might be why there was a little bit more prize pool because that was going to happen anyways.
mm,
Um, both fields had a few live golf players in there. Let's see, Marcel. Let's see. Adrian Moronk was 8 over. Let's see. Well, maybe that was the only one that was on that side. I feel like all of the I mean, there was probably like 12 South Africans in the field, and I felt like that
Mhm.
was dope. There was a lot of different names in the field, though. You had guys like, Tom McKibben was in the field. You had guys like Hao Tong Lee, who's going to be on the PGA Tour next year. You had
Mhm.
Francesco Molinari play out there. One of me and Rod's fan favorites, Yaus Loudon, played out there. Will Zalatoris made his return, and actually after the first round, 75, shot under par the rest of the tournament and ended up finishing T15 for a 7 under round over there.
Mhm.
Thomas Dietrich made the trip. Andy Sullivan made the trip. Johannes Veerman didn't have his best week. He ended up
Boo.
finishing tied 63. But even then, he still got 13K to shoot 17 over for the week.
Yeah.
Marcel Seam, OG Marcel Seam, probably gonna come over to the Champions Tour pretty soon. He shot 16 over as well. Let's see, Dylan Fratelli, longtime PGA Tour player, he shot 13 over.
Mhm.
Um, Paul Waring, interesting story. That guy went out and won like one of the infield events last year, heading into the playoffs. Got his PGA Tour card and didn't use it. Stayed on the DP World Tour, and just really hasn't done anything since. But he made the trip to the Nedbank. That was kind of fine. Oh, it's in euros in both. Okay. Um, it. I agree. I don't know what's going on with Adrian Maragrat. I don't
Needs to
know
be
if he's
studied
locked.
is
It.
crazy.
I don't know if he's locked in, bro. I agree. But congrats to Wrighton. He's had a phenomenal season. I mean, this guy is like the Sunday demon. He's shot like 63, 62, just something crazy on back-to-back Sundays. One to win, one to get into the, conversation with it. But let's move on to the Australian Open, like you said, that had a bunch of
Mhm.
eyes on it, had some great fanfare. It was in Melbourne, so it was a short trip over from where they played last week. You had Rasmus Neergaard-Petersen win it on 18. Him and Cam Smith played in the final group. Cam Smith had a putt on 18 for par to send it into a playoff and missed it, left side lip. I watched that. Unfortunately for him, he just didn't have it when it mattered most. But I think the game is trending. I think he feels like he needed to start caring again. Uh, just another, off-camera conversation that me and Rod had. Got to be 3 wins, at least 2, if not 3, for Wrighton. But I said that Cam Smith wasn't far away. Rod seemed to disagree. We saw this week that Cam Smith is decent, and I guess it being at the crib, he probably has played that course a number of times and kind of had some course knowledge. But yeah, hopefully he's got that hunger again for him. Maybe he'll be one of the standouts for the Live Tour this year or the Live League. Um, we'll see. We'll see. We have some developing stuff because the new Live CEO, Scott O'Neill got interviewed. So, once that comes out and we get a few more, articles and information on that, we'll talk about that going into next week. But we'll leave that discussion for then. Let's get back to the Australian Open. We got Adam Scott definitely
Yeah.
made he went out and did well enough. He got a solo 5th, which secured his
His Open.
exemption. Yeah, his exemption
Yeah.
into the Open. So he'll be at Royal Borgdale, and that'll be his 101st consecutive major played, only trailing Jack Nicklaus, who played an astonishing 146 majors in a row, not missed.
That's outrageous.
100. So, in the grand scheme of things, they talk about Jack Nicklaus as the GOAT. He played at 146 consecutive majors. He only won 18. How about that? Let's switch up the conversation here. Tiger, however, the numbers, he didn't play that many majors, and he's got 15. I'm just saying, Jack
But
played what?
I know this is a terrible kind of comparison, and I already know. I bet you $100 you know what I'm thinking right now. I bet you $100 you know what I'm thinking right now.
What are you gonna say?
It's the Jordan LeBron comparison.
It's
It
it's not. Jordan
not
is
really?
better. No, Jordan is better.
Okay. Well,
He's the GOAT. We'll leave it at that. There, like I've told many of people before, Bron is my GOAT, but it is very much so cement Jordan
yeah.
won 6-0 in the finals.
But
Just
let's bring it back to golf, where let's look at the difference in the field. Um, one of my old
but I mean,
college no, like one of my old college teammates was like, "Well, Jack was playing plumbers back in, back in those times
true.
when, whereas Tiger is playing against, let's say, prime Ernie, uh,
Yeah, Phil,
like yeah, prime Phil,
Marco Mira,
yeah,
Patrick Harrington, a lot of
mhm.
guys that were major winners. I mean, if it was Jack Nicklaus was playing Arnold Palmer and
Gary play like he was playing the same four people. It was
yep,
Gary
Tom
Player,
Watson.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it was
he had yeah. If they weren't winning, a couple of Lee Trevino sightings, but yeah, you're right.
yeah. Oh,
VJC,
Severiano Ballesteros. Let's not forget about him.
no, 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 no. He didn't play him. Sevi was more in the 80s and 90s. He kind of transitioned in between them. He was more so Greg Norman, Nick
Yeah, yeah, you're
Faldo,
right. You're right. Yeah,
that era of golf. Older Tom Watson,
yeah, yeah.
um, and stuff like that. But yeah, like Rod said, you also had to face VJ Singh, who is on record for saying, "I probably was the only golfer that wasn't afraid of Tiger," and you saw it in '04 when he won 9 times, took the #1 world ranking over there for the year and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely think it's a battle of arrows, but Tiger's definitely the GOAT. I don't just
Oh no, no. Like, I mean, of course, like I think what he's tied with Sam Snead for tour wins,
right.
and
And
three
that's even
behind.
debatable. That's even debatable because, as we've mentioned again, Sam Snead, they, put some team championships in there to kind of get them some official wins. So really, Sam Snead is like 78, 79 wins if we keeping it a buck.
Yeah. And I think the closest person who is still active on the PGA Tour, uh, I mean, it was Phil at like 40 something.
He should want it. I do. I think he gets it. I think when it's all said and done, he has one more good healthy year
I
to
hope
at
so.
least get one more win. And I think it would even be a crazier stamp if it was a major. If
That
it's a
would be.
major to get to 16 and him winning after all these injuries, you don't think that a lot more people don't call him the GOAT just outright? I think so.
I mean,
But
everybody already sees him as the GOAT. It's the younger generation, I think, that now is they're starting to see Scotty Scheffler as their GOAT. Um,
yeah, which I don't see.
I mean,
Eh,
it's way too early. It's way too early but there is a lot of statistics that compare him to Tiger. But I think also, but stats can be, evil.
Yeah,
Numbers don't lie,
I
but they can be deceiving.
yeah, and I think the comparison takes a lot of the joy out of it too. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day, we got to realize Tiger was doing his early 20s. Scotty's damn near 30.
yeah,
Scotty's damn near 30.
yeah.
Now he's into his prime. So he'll have all of his 30s to
Mhm.
do all to, come chase and see if he can get into those double figures and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely think there's levels to it. And I think luckily Scotty has came out and said it. There just really isn't a comparison when it comes from Scotty to Tiger as of now. But just to ring it in, let's kind of get through the Australian Open and then we'll go into the Grand Tour and then kind of conclude it from there. Um, as we said, Rasmus Neergaard-Petersen won. Cam Smith second. Siwoo Kim made a sighting. Had a
Yeah,
very hot
that was
Saturday to get into the
fantastic.
final group. They played
Yeah.
threesomes. Let's see. Adam Scott solo fifth. Jose Luis Ballester, new liver. He got into a T6 with Daniel Hillier, who also got his exemption into the Open. Matt McCartney made the trip, lefty. Carlos Ortiz liver, he made the trip. Elvis Smiley, I think he won last year. He made the trip.
hmm
Let's see, any other notables?
Hey, Alex Fitzpatrick in the field. Is he
Oh
finally off the
yeah,
Challenge Tour? Is he? He has his card, his DP card.
been that. Yeah, he had it last year.
Yes, yes.
hmm Yeah, he had it last year. Didn't really do what he was supposed to do, but I think he did enough to retain his DP World Tour card. But yeah,
It's okay. It's okay. No,
he
that's okay.
right. I think
You
he'll
know?
be okay.
Yeah.
Greg Chalmers, Ryan Fox, Minwoo Lee, and Rory McIlroy all finished 7 under. T14. What a group to finish T14. Let's
Period.
see.
Right. Mr. Ryan Fox.
Yep. Lucas Herbert, Mark Leishman, Livers. They got 6 under. They're tied 18. Let's see. Any other noticeables?
Abraham Answer, another liver. Kiradek Abbey
Yeah.
Barnrat.
Yeah, Kiradek
Um,
Oppie Bonred, he had it going in the second day, and then shot over par on moving day, and really kind of took him out of the fight. And then he had a couple of even par rounds. Sean Crocker, DP World Tour, he's kind of like a Brooks Koepka. Really
mhm.
made his name, made a name for himself on the DP World Tour. Hasn't made it back over across the pond yet, back over to stateside, but he's making good money over there, so you can't really blame him. Let's see.
Caleb Surratt had a good tournament. There you go. Fine. I guess
Yeah, sure.
something's click. Okay, don't do that. He's a good college player, really good college player, and I mean,
Yeah, he's a good college player, and he's finally just barely won on the Asian
hey,
tour the very first time. Congrats to him, I guess.
he had a good tournament. Give
Yeah,
props where they're due.
sure, it was a decent tournament.
All right. I also like
Um,
Ballesteros' game. I really like it. I watched a couple of when he was at ASU. Really good
uh-huh.
swing, kind of really like quick. It's like slow, but then really quick but controllable. I do like his
Yeah,
game. I
just
just don't like.
another.
I just don't like that he went to live. I just don't like that. I really
Well,
wish. I really, really wish he wouldn't have gone.
I agree. You just, you never know what people's pockets are looking like that.
That's true, but good luck to him, man.
Very true. Very true. All right, let's get into the Grant Thornton, which is this week. One of the last actually scheduled and going to be televised events. It'll be this, then it'll be the PNC, and then we'll get into a lot of DP World Tour late night, early morning golf across the way. But let's see, we have some good fields going on. 16 teams. If you need to kind of maximize it to get the teams in there, do so. You got the returning champs. You got Patty T and Jake Knapp.
hmm
Lydia Cohen, Jason Day, returning team. Nelly Corda has a new teammate. She's playing with Denny McCarthy this year. Jessica Corda, you've been seeing her. Practice videos on IG. She's back in the field. Hopefully, she's gonna make maybe some limited starts, kind of do like a Lexi Thompson type deal, and get in the field on a few of these sponsors exemptions. She's playing with Bud Colley, Brooke Henderson, Corey Connor making a return. Team
hmm
Canada. Did you get? I wouldn't say they're funny teams, but kind of how y'all got together is kind of funny, like an Andrea Lee and a Billy Horschel. I don't know where that pairing came from, but I'm not gonna be mad
Yeah,
at it. I'm not mad
yeah.
at it. Charlie Hull, Daniel Berger.
No,
I guess. I guess.
no,
I mean,
no.
exactly. I don't know. Exactly. I don't know. I have no clue.
I would have done like a Alex or like a Matt Fitzpatrick or like another like Englander
Right.
with her.
Yeah.
but not
Yeah,
POS Daniel Berger, bro.
even like a Patrick Harrington or something like that. But
Yeah,
who knows? Lottie Wold, Luke Clan, you got the Florida State connection going.
that'll be good.
Um, you got the outspoken media personalities in Lexi Thompson and Wyndham Clark.
Or team
You
crash out. Yeah,
truly. Jennifer Kupcho and Chris Gotterup. That's an interesting
I like
duo.
that. I like
I
that.
do. Jennifer Kupcho, longtime Pink staffer, love her for that. Chris
Hmm.
Gotterup, I think he's pretty much he plays the Brit. He's Team Bridgestone. I'm pretty sure. I don't. From what I remember, I do believe his bag is Bridgestone. I
But
do believe his
he had
bag is
a
Bridgestone.
he had a good tournament, right? He won this year. No,
Mm,
Chris
no,
Carter.
he did. No, he contended in the
Yeah,
Open.
yeah, that's
No,
what it was. Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
yeah. Roseng, Michael Kim.
Mm.
That's interesting because Roseng is definitely Team Stanford. Michael Kim, I believe, is UCal. So
That's what
I
I'm
don't know
saying.
how that rivalry is going to work. I
I
don't.
would have
Maybe there's a friendly banter thing going on.
I would have done a team Stanford the same with the Florida State. Like I think Isaiah Salinda went to Stanford, no? If I'm not mistaken. Let me
Yeah,
look it up.
or
Let me
you
look it
could
up.
even do a Rico Hoey because
Yes.
Stanford USC is more friendly than a Cal Stanford because Cal is real uppity, and so is Stanford. I don't know how that's going to work out, but good on them. I think
Yeah,
that's going to be a real. I think that's going
Salinda
to be a. He
did
did
go to Stanford, yeah. That'd have been
nice.
nice.
Lauren Coughlin, Andrew Novak. I mean, Andrew. When is no Andrew Novak ride is turning into like a Ryan Fox? When is he not on tour? When is he not playing? I feel like he's out there every week right now. And he just had a kid. They just talked about how he had a kid like a month ago or so. He ain't heard for money. Exactly. Exactly, bro. He there. Maya Stark, US Open winner this year. Neil Shipley just secured his PGA card for the year, so
Yeah.
he'll be on the Big Boys tour for 2026. I think that's a nice duo.
Hmm.
They're both young in their low 20s, mid 20s, so that'll be a nice little pairing. Angel Yin, Tom Hoagie. I was thinking about this pre-show. They just seem like bros to me because we already know Angel Yin. She on the same team as us,
Hmm.
so her and Tom Hoagie probably just having a good time in Florida right now. They probably both on the beach looking for something. So, they both hunting probably. Well, I don't know. Tom Hoagie probably married now. He like mid-30s, low 40s, I think. Who knows? No Daniel Berger hate. No. No Daniel Berger hate, bro. No. Who's hated? Who hated?
Me. I don't like Daniel Berger.
Uh, you got to relax on that, brother. I don't know if we'll have you
No,
back. Well, I don't know
no,
if we'll have you back. Anyways,
no.
Megan Kang and Keith Mitchell got to be the drippy twins. Megan Kang definitely always has some nice drip, and we already know what Keith Mitchell is bringing. Oh man, yeah, exactly. Explain the hate. What's going on here, brother?
So
What's
from
going
what
on
I
here, brother?
from what I've heard, and there for with
Your sources are telling you.
my sources are telling me that although Daniel Berger is nice on camera, he is a terrible human being off camera.
Ooh,
I've Daniel Berger, the guy that
no, I'm
looks
I'm
so
saying oop. I'm saying oop.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
T.
This is the guy that looks like I said, I just don't know how true it is, but from what I've heard from multiple sources that that's just how he is. That like he kind of like talks down to staff at his club that he practices at, or like,
Mm,
stuff like that, where it's like, I get it, you're a tour player, but and this is my biggest thing, especially because we're both in technically, yeah, we are in customer service, but it's like, it's the staff that kind of they're the reason why why it's open and you're able to have nice conditions and have
yeah,
like all this luxury stuff. And I've
yeah.
heard that he like kind of degrades staff, and I'm like, that's just kind of strikes a nerve with me. Um, from like the golfer aspect, good player. Good player, but I've heard that he's just a horrible human being. Or not a horrible, but I would say a not so decent human being.
Okay, Mike is dropping the Carfax on us. Okay, all right. Well, hopefully, he beats the allegations. But until then, I guess that's what it is with Daniel Berger. Maybe he's got some work to do internally. Maybe he's turning into a Wyndham Clark. Who knows? Who knows, man? Um, well, as we always end every show, piggybacking off of what Rod usually says is, you got any random things you want to talk about, Mike? Any sports?
Yes.
Any sports or anything like what you got?
One, the Callaway Quantum made its debut on the PGA Tour with Sam Burns playing it.
Yeah,
It has hit the very true.
USGA confirming.
Hot take. I do think that he should be banned from the US Open and the PGA Championship this year for breaking locker rooms.
Ah,
Hot take.
bars,
Hot take.
bars. No, that's a cold take. That's a very valid take. You spitting right now. We talked about that too. He got off easy with the little anger management BS,
Yeah.
paying the fine. No, bro. That club shouldn't allow you back.
Yeah.
The USGA shouldn't allow you back. You should have like a 5-year ban. You on bullshit, bro. You on bullshit, and everybody saw it. And there's just no way around it, bro. You do whatever you want on the PGA Tour. You try to do your little redemption tour and stuff like that, but nah, bro. Nah, that's terrible. Anyways, continue.
So the Callaway Quantum, the Cobra Optum, the new Cobra Optum has hit the conforming list. The TaylorMade 4D has hit the conforming list. So we are seeing 3 drivers who have hit the conforming list. Still waiting to hear from Titleist. Allegedly, from sources, are going to be releasing a driver in May. So we're yet to see that. Now, off of golf and into the sport of football, it's been an interesting couple games for not only the NFL, but for college. Indiana upsets Ohio State. That was
Yeah.
wild. That was really
Yeah,
wild
very
to me.
crazy.
My Texans are 8-5 now.
Still second
We're
in the
good.
division.
Don't care. Don't
Yeah,
care.
it's fine. I mean, y'all making a push. I like it. Y'all are going to
It's
be in contention. I think y'all are in the wild card for sure already.
yeah. And I think
Um,
and I want to get Rod's take on this. Who do you think will come out of the NFC AFC this year? Seeing as that the 2 AFC powerhouses, the Chiefs and the Ravens, are not performing to their normal standard. So who do you think is going to come out of the AFC and then the NFC? I don't know.
Buffalo is 9-4.
Yeah, but we beat them. So that means we can do it again.
Sure, but
Whatever. So I want to get Rod's
Striction driver is creeping up the ranks. Yeah, right. I mean, Mike will tell you he plays some Striction iron still. He plays the the player CB.
the blades and the short irons, and then the ZX7s and the long irons.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually,
so
Chris plays the new ZXi LS Ortiz. He plays
nice.
it, and I've hit it. The sound is compared to the G425, that really kind of wet elephant fart sound, where it's like really
Whoa,
loud.
I don't know what that is. I don't know where you're going with that.
No, let me look. It's just you know how the 425 sounded. It was just loud and kind of obnoxious, kind of like a Nike Sasquatch.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about now.
But good numbers when it comes to in terms of spin and launch, and I think how Chris has his driver set up with that kind of Mitsubishi chemical blue board.
Yeah,
It really suits his game well, and even though it's a stiff and I've hit it, it performs really really well.
yeah,
Also, Mitsubishi is also, or I'd say that Diamana line, it's making its way up, where
yeah,
Mitsubishi is putting a quality product out, where as a fitter or as someone who works in repairs, I'm seeing a lot of Diamanas, especially in the whiteboard, blue board area. So I think Fujikura they're starting to get their a run for their money a little bit.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and
You
well,
spin right now. You spin right now. Denver in the AFC, but no thanks to Sean Payton. Seattle out of the NFC. I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. I mean, because I don't really know who else is really contending and like serious in the NFC. Really, you can't trust Philly right now.
no,
Maybe Green Bay.
they look good.
Uh, I mean, the Rams really looking kind of serious. I ain't gonna lie.
The
The Rams
Lions,
looking
the
I'm never a
Detroit
believer in the
Lions.
Lions.
Stop
Nah,
it.
Dan Campbell is a madman. You can't trust madmen. If he made like sensible choices, I can understand people going for him. But they're third in their own division right now.
Oh,
Chicago's in front of them right now. Chicago's 9-4 right now, and that's only because they lost to Green Bay this past Sunday by Tud.
yeah, that's fair.
Exactly.
That's
No,
fair.
I don't believe in New England.
That's fair.
I don't
No,
believe in New England.
negative.
They might get to the championship game, but that fun's gonna run out. Now, do I believe in Vrabel? Yes, but Drake May's still too young. I don't see it. I don't see it
Um,
happening.
how are your
What?
Mavs? How are your Mavs? Let's talk about your Mavs.
The
I
Mavs are trending.
yeah,
They've won 4 out of the last 5 games. Now, don't get me wrong, they stink.
what's
Overall, well, I mean, you got to call it what it is, but they beat the Rockets. They beat Denver. They're
mhm.
beating good teams. I mean, AD's glass, though, so who knows how long he will truly last. It's a very unfortunate situation. But we had 3 games today. Then you got the NBA Cup finishing up. That's Tuesday, Wednesday. You got a 4-game slot on Thursday, and then the final. Oh, wait, hold up. When is the final for the NBA Cup? The NBA Cup. Let's see. When is the final? The final for the NBA Cup isn't until next Tuesday. Thank you. Exactly. We're soothing. We're breathing, sighing a sigh of relief. Okay. I'm here now. So Tuesday, Wednesday, we got quarters. Then this weekend is on Saturday is the 2 semifinals games, and then next Tuesday, the 16th, a week from tomorrow, is the championship for the NBA Cup, and then we'll get back into the regular season. So Friday, it's like a decent slate. We play the Mavs play the Nets, so that should, in theory, be an easy one. But yeah, I'm not mad at what the Mavs are doing right now. I feel like Cooper Flag is getting the right development. He's seen every aspect of the offense. He's dribbled, he's taken the ball down, he's played point. Now he's back into his natural position, off ball, kind of that small forward position. And Ryan Nembhard is kind of emerging as the lead guard with Brandon Williams. I think we need to do our due diligence and get D'Angelo Russell out of there, get some type of form of compensation back for him, but that was a failed experiment. And I think we need to let AD kind of build, get some momentum, and then sell high and get like get some future use or something back in return and let him go championship hunt somewhere else. But as far as what we have going on, I'm definitely excited with what the Mavs going on now that Nico's gone. Kyrie's getting stronger and stronger. He's almost back. So I'm excited to see what he'll look like in the offense and what he's going to do to help Coop develop. Because he's going to only open up his bag more as far as handles, as far as finishing around the basket. But Coop Flag already has a left, a right. He's already there. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm excited about that. The Cowboys did it to me again, for a few weeks where they had me kind of, trying to reel me in. The offense is explosive, it's exciting. The defense is literally just the ghetto. It is literally the slums. It is Despicable what them boys be doing on defense, man. Oh my God, bro. But it's because Jerry Jones
Oh man.
is terrible GM skills. We would
Yeah.
have been all right. We would have been all right if we would have kept Micah. But it's fine. We got Quentin Williams now. We got that linebacker or whatever. So, you
Mhm.
know, they gonna say we doing something right, but it's whatever, man.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I think we talked about it. If we took Houston's defense and the Cowboys offense, I think you said Super Bowl, right?
easily
Yeah.
the number one defense on the planet right now. You cannot deny Houston Texans defense. That thing is a
No.
machine. They not doing anything tricky. They laying it
No.
right out in front of you. They hitting hard. It's great. They got top corners. Yeah, it's scary out there, boy.
I think
I
we've
mean,
talked
shoot,
about it. Number one defense, 32nd offense.
God bless. Houston got to
Oh
work on
man.
the offense a little
Yeah.
bit.
Gotta lock in. But you got anything else?
No, no, that was a good show. Rod will be back with us and doing his usual moderating on screen. Um, he says he's going to be consistent with us. But shout out to Rod. He did. I mean, he's still going to do his thing. So thanks everybody who stuck with us and popped in. And we'll see y'all next week. We'll be talking about golf again. We'll be talking about our normal stuff. And yeah, y'all have a great rest of y'all's week. I'm Marcus.
And I'm Michael.
Peace.
Oh,